He was a captain. That was the highest rank as a paid firefighter there in Brenham. So he was one of the first paid firefighters actually to ever be hired by the city. He worked for 44 years as a fireman, and as you know, most firemen have a second job. So my dad worked 24/48, and on his days off, he did tile and floor, laid tile and floor for years. And then, of course, he had a cattle business too, so really had 3 jobs. So raised cattle, did all that stuff. So he was pretty much never home. If he was from sunup to sundown, gone, working extra shifts, doing everything he could because my mom stayed home.
Yeah.
To raise us. So, yeah, so pretty used to the lifestyle. So when I met him, it really wasn't much of a difference understanding. He had 3 jobs when we met. So he was kind of never around, always had the pager on, ready to go to a fire.
Pull that microphone just right to the edge of the table for me.
Okay, gotcha.
So when you met Robert, how did you guys meet? And was he already a firefighter at that point, or was it? Yeah, tell me when you met him and what attracted you to this guy.
Nice.
So he was a firefighter when we met. I wanted to go to PA school. Didn't have much hands-on patient experience as far as that goes. I only did patient registration, working at a hospital. But I knew I fell in love with the profession, watching them work in the emergency room. So when I finished playing softball in college, I didn't really have any job experience. So I went to EMT school, and this guy happened to be in a paramedic class across the hall. It took him several weeks, actually 12, to talk to me, but he did, and the rest is kind of history at that point. But that's how we met. He was a fireman at the time. He was trying to get on with Houston, so he made himself more marketable, becoming a paramedic first.
Whenever they say that you're attracted to people that might remind you of your father a little bit, was there any qualities besides the firefighter that you saw in your dad with Robert? No, not at all.
They're polar opposites. This guy talks. My dad never talked much. He was kind of that quiet, stern figure in my life. I mean, he would do anything in the world for me. He never missed a softball game in high school or college. He always took off work. He was always there supporting us. But as far as talking goes, no, this guy loves to talk. And so we talked nonstop when we first met. And then when I took him home to meet my family, I was like, hey, look, my dad doesn't really talk. He's probably not going to talk to you at all. And then he disappears outside while my dad's cooking dinner and doesn't come back in for 2 hours. And I was like, okay, he clearly has something in common with him. So he started talking, and he gets my dad talking all the time.
I told her you finally brought somebody home he had something in common with.
Yeah, well, I mean, you meeting her dad for the first time. What was your impression of him? And tell me about how you guys hit it off from the beginning.
I think for me, it was, I'd worked for, men like him before. They were just kind of that stone face, just kind of like, I'm kind of watching you from afar. So I kind of went back to some of the mentors I had that I kind of looked up to that kind of had his behavior. So I was just trying to find out ways to kind of break through and just to find something that we could talk about. And then after that, it was fine. I just, it was about having conversations I knew he would be interested in. And for me, and I'd be interested too. We knew a lot of the same people just because it was kind of in the same area. So we would just kind of talk about those things. And I just wanted to sit back and just try to get as much from him as I could. Because I just I still look at him today as another mentor. I mean, he's got to be one of the hardest working men I've ever seen. I mean, at his age now, he's still 7 days a week taking care of cattle, sun up to sundown. Wow. And I'd asked him, I said, when you retire, what are you going to do? He said, I'm just going to go take care of the cattle 2 more days because he won't be at the fire station, right? Yeah. So, I mean, and he's a phenomenal human being, a hard worker, a great example for our girls for sure.
So your dad, growing up in a firefighter's home, tell me about the marriage between your mom and dad. Was it something you could model, what you're looking for, what you want to have one day?
I mean, he certainly was a big provider for us, and he always gave my mom pretty much everything that she wanted and needed in life. And I mean, the dynamic between my parents growing up, they loved on us all the time. I didn't see much, big hugs and kisses between them, but because my father was German, and he even met my grandparents' home, my grandmother would do anything for my grandfather, but and vice versa. But it wasn't like there wasn't a lot of hugs and kisses. So I meet this guy, and his mom and dad are hugging and kissing on the cheek and doing all these things, and I'm like, what? Definitely not the dynamic I grew up with. So it took some getting used to, all the touchy feely, lovey kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I grew up Italian, and that's how it was. I mean, it was. It was hugging and kissing, and I mean that's just you're kissing on the cheek, you're hugging. It was just you don't walk out of the house without telling each other I love you. Say I love you at the end of a phone call in the morning. It was just, and you could see she was kind of standoffish. And I mean, even still to this day, like my mom will still hug her parents, and that's just the culture we grew up in.
Yeah.